Today I want to share with you an interesting deck that has been somewhat gaining popularity over in Japan, and as you can tell from the thumbnail, I'm talking about Starter Deck 12 leader Zoro and Sanji. So for the first half of this video, I'll be sharing with you a couple of deck lists that has done well in Japan, and in the second half of this video, I'll be sharing with you some gameplay videos of me trying out the deck. So this deck is the definition of rogue deck. The strategy is go aggro and create board advantage by playing cards like 3-cost Mihawk as well as Jinbei. And the leader's effect allows your character with 7k or lower attack power to active again by bouncing one of your character, which is 2 costs or higher, back to hand. And then this allows you to attack multiple times. So for example, if you have 2 characters on board, that is 3 attacks, which you will see from the gameplay later on. And another thing is, although this deck is not tier 1 or 2, it did win a couple of flagship events as well as store qualifying events for the area championship over in Japan. So another thing to take note also is this deck is not beginner friendly, especially if you are bringing it to high level events such as flagship events or even the store qualifying tournaments. So without further ado, let's go through the deck list. So here we have the first deck list. This is by Nishi Higashi. He won a flagship event. Unfortunately, he didn't share his matchups, but here we can see the deck list is running 4 Sengoku, 4 I Can Be Your Samurai, which is really good in this deck. And in case you didn't know, this deck draws a lot, or you get a lot of card advantage from cards like your 3-cost Bartolomeo. And then this deck is also playing 3-cost Doffy, as well as your Playmaker, Jinbei, and your Dracula Mihawk. Next, we have Gecko Moria, which pairs really well with 4-cost Jinbei, and Edward Weevil, which pairs with both Jinbei and your Mihawks. Next, 2k counters. Actually, this deck is running 16 2k counters because your 3-cost Mihawk is also a 2k counter. So they are playing 4 Dracula Mihawk, 2k counter, followed by 4 Crocodile, 4 Law, which can all be played by Jinbei. And lastly, he is playing 4 copies of Doffy, 10-cost Doffy. So fun fact, this Doffy is actually a 7 warlords, so you can search it off your Sengoku. And for the last 2 cards, they are playing Perfume Femur, which is a Diable Jambe. This is really good because you can activate this event onto your Doffy, and then your Doffy can swing with unblockable. So this is the first deck list. And later on during the gameplay video, I'm using this exact list, so feel free to try it out. Next, we have Kishi. Kishi, he won the store qualifying tournament to participate in the area tournament in Japan, the one that they usually do the streams for. So let's take a look at this deck list. So his matchups were, first matchup was against Purple Kaido, followed by Enel, followed by Black and Yellow Luffy, and lastly is Green and Yellow Yamato. So some of the decks are really meta contentious, like for example Enel. Enel is definitely a tier 1 deck, tier 1, tier 2, as well as Luffy, as well as Yamato. So let's have a look at the deck list. Slightly different. This one is playing a couple of tech cards, and yeah, over here in the comments he said something about the 4-cost Along being really good, which is because you can play your Along off your 3-cost Dracula Mihawk. So over here we can see that he is playing 2 Charlotte Pudding. I think Pudding is a really strong blue card which should be in every blue decks if you have space for it. Next, he is playing this Edward Weaver's Mom. On play, you can just cheat out another Edward Weaver card, which we see he's playing 8 copies of, which is this 4-cost 6k attack Weevil, as well as the 4-cost 5k one. Next, Jinbei, the Playmaker again. And we have 2 ulti. Ulti is good because it allows you to draw 1 card by playing her, and also stack your deck or filter it out to the bottom of the deck. Next, he is running 3-cost Doffy, 4 Dracula Mihawk, 4 Crocodile, 4 Gecko Moria, and Boa Hancock. So Boa Hancock is good in this deck because when you attack or block, it gives you a draw 1 if you have 5 or less cards. But if you have 5 or less cards on attack, you can draw 1 card and then use your leader's effect to active your Hancock to attack again. And if your hand is 5 or less, you can draw 1 more card. So potentially being able to draw 2 cards of Hancock's effect. And then next, the last 5 cards are his tech cards. he's playing one Hody Jones, a really strong green card, which also gives him rush effect as well as allowing to tap two of your opponent's character or Dawn, which could be helpful when going up against Bonnie, because this deck spams a lot of characters on board and you don't want Bonnie to stop your characters from attacking. As mentioned earlier, Along is really good as well, mainly because it can lock your opponent from attacking, so you can lock down your opponent's Gecko Moria. Next, we have Usopp. Usopp is here for the rush. Next is Sugar. Sugar is there just to rest, and being a 2 cost allows you to bounce and reuse her effect again. Using your leader's effect, you can bounce her. And then lastly, Perfume Femur. So really good card, but this deck is not playing the 10 cost Doffy. But this Perfume Femur can go on to almost all of your character, but I guess the best one would be on the 6k Edward Weevil. Okay, so next we are going to this person called Unica Nichifam. So I believe he's the one that started this whole deck. I believe I saw him winning with, not winning, but did really well with the Zoro Sanji deck from last month. Okay, we'll just go through all his winnings. So for this event, this is a flagship event. He got top 8, I believe. Yeah, he did get top 8. Yeah, over here it says top 8. And he went 4-2 at the event, which is really good. So his matchups were against Reiju, Enel, Red Purple Law, which he won all 3. But the next 2 games, he lost to Katakuri and Lucci. And lastly, he won a black and yellow Luffy. So these are really strong meta decks, which he did manage to win. And then the week before that, or the day before that, he entered a standard battle and he ended up getting first. So let's look at the matchups again. He won Perona, won a black-yellow Big Mom, and then a Black Moria, and even Enel. Like I mentioned earlier, all these are top decks, and surprisingly, Zoro is able to win them. So it's something for you to really try it out to see if this deck may potentially belong in tier 2 or even high tier 2. Previously, I ranked this deck to be really low. Okay, so this is one of the other flagship that he joined last month. So he got third. This is the deck list, and I believe he used the same deck list for the 2 events that I mentioned earlier. So for this flagship event, he got third place. I believe third place. Yeah, he got third place. And his matchups were, yeah, this was when Sakazuki was still playable. So he won Sakazuki, he won Moria, he won Katakuri, but lost to Enel. So really good showing here. And then if we look back even further, over here he won a standard battle. And yeah, this one was when Sakazuki was still playable also. He won a standard battle. He won against Black Lucci, Black Yellow Luffy, Black Moria, Enel, and Red Purple Law. And then, yeah, I think, okay, yeah, so this is the one that I first saw. He got top 16 with Zoro at a flagship event. So really strong. He lost to Moria, won Lucci, won Enel, lost to Black Yellow Luffy, won against Red Purple Law, and he won against Sakazuki. So that is all for the deck profile or sharing of the deck. Feel free to just scroll back to the deck profile and just have a look. So next I'll be showing you some gameplay that I did, some really short gameplays. Okay, the first one is against Perona, really short. I cut the video up. If you are going first, what you want to see is a Mihawk, 3-cost Mihawk. If you're going second, you want to see a Jinbei. So over here, turn 1, turn 2, usually you don't have any play unless you have a Sengoku. And he opts to attack 7k into leader, so I took it. So now I'm going second, so I have access to the Jinbei, and I even draw Draco Mihawk. But Draco Mihawk here, I don't have a target, so I just played down the Jinbei instead. And then Jinbei effect allowing me to play one 7 Warlords character, which I think it's fine to play down this Draco Mihawk because I can just bounce it. So he's gonna attack into my Jinbei, I'm gonna bounce it. I'm gonna block it, and it's gonna get killed by Ryuma. So now 5k attack. What I can do here is I can play down another character, and I can even use my, yeah, you see here I'm playing the Bartolomeo. And then I can use my leader's effect to attack and bounce back that Bartolomeo to reactive my Mihawk. But yeah, I think I did that. So 8k into leader using effect to bounce my Bartolomeo. And then I can active my Mihawk. And then Mihawk can attack again. Okay, but unfortunately he triggered into an event which rests my Mihawk. So 5k into leader, I'm gonna block it. 6k into my leader. Yeah, I can see that I can tell that he's gonna play down another Ryuma or even X Drake. So here comes Ryuma and he's gonna play down the Brooks. So during my turn, you see how fast this deck can build a board. I'm gonna play down this Moria playing the Jinbei and then play into the Weevil. So just like that, 3 cards on board. And then he's gonna respond by resting my Weevil and playing X Drake. So 6k, I'm gonna block 2k. 6k again, I'm gonna block 2k. Yeah, I think at this point, I'm just blocking all his attacks. Yeah, so I just block all of the attacks. And it's going to play now another Brooks. And I have access to my 10 cost Doffy. So I believe I'll be playing. But before that, I'm attacking. I'm using all my cards to attack. Okay, he's going to trigger another resting event. So that's 1 life left. So I just played down the Doffy to lock 3 of the characters. So 6k is going to clear my board. 5k is gonna swing into leader, reducing the cost of. Okay, it's gonna swing into my Jinbei and then reducing my Jinbei's cost, which I'm gonna block it. I'm expecting him to KO my Jinbei. Okay, it's gonna play Stussy. Stussy, by removing one of your character, you can KO one of my character. So over here, I win the game. Technically, I can win because I can just attach into Jinbei. Jinbei swing 7. And then I can play another character down, swing with my leader to bounce that newly played character back to hand, and then my Jinbei can attack again. So I won the game by attacking twice using my character and once using my leader. So that's the first game against Perona. My next game is against Blue Yellow Ace. So here we go. I believe this one is a slightly longer match, or yeah, slightly longer video. Okay, I believe I am going second. So, okay, we have our Sengoku play to search for. Okay, we can play the Mihawk next turn, but the only target here is Law because it's a strike character, and it cannot play Mihawk because of its own effect. 3-cost Draco Mihawk cannot play another Mihawk. So 5k into leader, and I'm gonna play that. Yeah, and I played down the Mihawk. Okay, and then yeah, I played down the I can be a samurai to draw 2 more cards, and then bouncing back my Law back to hand. So it's gonna use Ace leader effect. Okay, so back to my turn. I'm gonna play down Sengoku to search for a Jinbei, and then as you can see here, I'm just stacking my board. So Jinbei, and I play down the Edward Weevil. And I'm gonna play down the. I can be a samurai again to draw 2. So this guy is really powerful. I couldn't attack because he was at 7k. Next, he plays down the ace, which is a blocker, using leader's effect, and then using Luffy's effect to trash his top life to gain 2k. And then 7k, I'm gonna block it. 8k, I'm gonna block it, surprisingly. I don't remember this match. Okay, so now I can attack multiple times, 5k into leader, and I believe 7k into leader using Edward Weevil. He's gonna block it and 2k counter. And then now I think I start going for all his character. Okay, 6k using effect, bounce back that 2k Mihawk to active my Weevil. So it's gonna let that ace go down. Then I'm going to attach 3 more Dons, so 10k swinging into that Luffy is going to block 3k, which I don't think he should have done that, should have let it go. 6k swinging to leader. And then, okay, he does pull off the trigger, which allows him to KO one of my 4-cost character. And then I played the Sengoku down to add 7 Warlords, which is my 10-cost Doffy. I'm going to use Leader's Effect to add that Luffy to top of his life, and then using the Luffy effect to gain 2k. So 9k swinging into my Jinbei, I'm gonna block that 5k guard. 8k, I don't think I have enough. Do I have enough? Okay, I do have enough, so that is a 4k guard. So I'm gonna play down Ace. And then back to my turn now, I have 10 Dons. So 5k into leader. Another 5k, and I believe I'm gonna drop down the Doffy. I think that's the only good play I should do here. Okay, so now locking 2 of his character. And then back to his turn. He's gonna play down Ace. Ace has rush, so he's gonna swing. Okay, he's gonna swing 10k. I have to let it go. And then he just passes back to me. Then over here you see I can play that Jinbei into a Moria, and then I can add another Jinbei, which is really strong for building board. Okay, so 5k into leader. Then I'm gonna play Jinbei. Then Jinbei's effect allows me to play 7 Warlords, which I played Gecko Moria, adding back a 2k counter. Then I'm gonna attach 2 Dons or 3 Dons. Okay, so 2 Dons. 7k swinging into, oh, Luffy? Am I going for Luffy? Okay, so Luffy, then I'm gonna use his effect, Leader's effect, to active himself by bouncing my Jinbei and then reactivating my Sengoku. Why I return back Jinbei is because next time I can just Jinbei into Gecko Moria again. So that is 10k into Ace. And then 6k. Oh no, 6k into leader. So now he's down to 1 life. So next turn, even if he plays down a blocker, I have the Perfume Femur to go for unblockable. 7k is gonna put that Ace into play. It's gonna play down the Luffy to get rid of my other attacker, which is Gecko Moria. 9k is gonna swing into my Sengoku, which wouldn't really help him. Plays down a Gup, adding that rush A. So his hand is possibly only 4k counter. Now I'm gonna attach 6 Dawn to swing for 11, which is a 5k guard. So depending on whether he blocks or not, if he doesn't block, then we win. Okay, so he doesn't block. So I'm just gonna activate Perfume Femur, attaching 2 Dawn and swing for 14k unblockable for game. So those are the 2 gameplay videos that I have for you today. And that's all for this video. If you've enjoyed this video, give this video a like and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't. Let me know in the comments what you think of this deck. I think it's really strong, so you should give it a try as well. And also don't forget to follow me on Twitter for more One Piece TCG content. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.